Have you ever met someone who feels too much? Who sees 10 layers in something most people call simple? Who can't stop analyzing, replaying, wondering? That person isn't overdramatic. They're a deep thinker, and psychology says their mind works differently. They're not quiet because they have nothing to say. They're quiet because they're thinking about every possible version of what they could say. They're not distant, they're observant. While the world rushes by, they're studying how it moves. How every glance, every silence, tells a story. Most people think too much thinking causes confusion, but to a deep thinker, thinking is breathing. It's how they process existence. They don't just see a tree, they see how it bends toward light, how its roots mirror their own search for grounding. They find metaphors in everything, and that's what makes their inner world so rich and so heavy. Psychologists call it high-trait introspection. A brain wired to turn life into meaning. To a deep thinker, why isn't just a question, it's oxygen. But here's the paradox. That same mind that sees everything also feels everything. They notice when a laugh hides sadness, when someone says, "I'm fine," but their tone trembles. They sense tension no one else feels, and they carry it. They absorb it, until it starts to hurt. That's why deep thinkers often need solitude, not because they hate people, but because silence is how they heal. Their brain never stops. Even at 2 a.m., they're replaying something they said 5 years ago, asking what it revealed about who they were. Not because they can't move on, but because they're mapping themselves. They're trying to understand every emotion, every shadow. It's not insecurity, it's curiosity turned inward. Psychologists call this metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. Most people visit it. Deep thinkers live there, but it's exhausting. Because when you can see all the layers, you also see all the flaws. In others, in yourself, in everything. And yet, that's their gift. They see what most people miss. They can read between words, find beauty in sadness, see possibility inside pain. Because they don't just think, they feel their thoughts. Their minds connect emotion with logic, and that's what makes them both brilliant and misunderstood. We live in a world that rewards speed, where silence looks like weakness. But deep thinkers move at a different rhythm. They think before they speak. They pause before reacting. They crave conversations that mean something, that go beneath the surface, where truth actually lives. They don't want to talk just to talk. They want to understand. And maybe that's what the world needs more of. People who don't rush to answer, who aren't afraid of questions that don't have answers. People who can look at life and instead of saying, "I get it," say, "I'm trying to." Because the beauty of a deep thinker isn't that they know everything. It's that they're willing to explore everything. They remind us that thought, when done with intention, is an act of love. So if you're one of them, if you feel too much, think too long, or care too deeply, don't shrink it. That's not weakness. That's depth. And depth, in a shallow world, is its own kind of light.